If a dude was double cheeked up, you wouldn't want to smash. No. I'm not sure what it is that you think I like about cheeks that much that would make me disregard which gender it was attached to, but I do like women. I respect people's preferences and what you like in your sexuality. But mine don't change just because you double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. I still want it from shorty, you feel me? Hello, YouTube. This is actually going straight to YouTube, so this is why I'm not even like saying, oh, this is on a podcast episode. Nah, we're just in a podcast setting, you feel me? Type shit. So basically, I did an episode already. It was a short one, and it was pretty much just like my take on the abortion ban and looking at it from a mental health perspective. We did that, and that's pretty much all I had planned. But Peter was like, yo, you got anything else? You already here. We could put in some work. I was like, I can't say no to that. You feel me? So I remembered the fact that on the episode that I did with my girlfriend, because the episode just dragged on so long, a lot of the things me and her spoke about, I'm not going to hold you, those were things we spoke about in front of y'all for the first time and shit, right? So there's a lot of the Q&A that we didn't go through, and then I never deleted them. So I'm like, yo, we can make a Q&A episode and then record something for Poem of the Day. So that's 3 content I'm giving y'all. And because, next week is July 4th, right? So I'm not gonna come and pull up to make content. So those things, y'all will have them spread out. When you see this, they'll probably be around that time anyways, but just know that I love y'all and I'm trying to make content for y'all. So let's just start out with the Q&A. So basically, somebody was like, separating lust from love, or how society often confuse both. Oh, how do you separate the two? Or how... I'll just take it from the perspective that I would like to take it from, since that was very broad. I'm not going to hold you. For me, it's like, if you're in a relationship, I'll take it from that perspective. If you're trying to decide whether or not this is something, like whether or not part of your dynamic has too much to do with sex, and you're thinking, is this really love or is it lust? A simple way to figure that out is toss sex to the side and see just how well your relationship works. And I'm not saying just because y'all get in a rocky phase and sex is off the table, like, oh shit, it's lust. But it's more of like, do you notice that some of these things, some of these issues that are popping up, or when sex is being denied, or when that person doesn't have access to it, then it's kind of like, so you're not going to be the person you normally are to me if I don't give you sex? That's crazy. That type of shit. Thoughts on long distance relationships and being able to have sex with other people. One, I don't know if I can do a long distance relationship, just because it's like, I'm a touchy person, and for me, like, my thing is quality time. I get that quality time can be making time for a FaceTime, but I'd rather spend like 5 minutes with you and just hug you the whole entire time over a 2-3 hour FaceTime call. Like, that physical touch means a lot to me, and it's part of my love language that I like to receive. So I just couldn't make that shit work. And the whole like long distance and then y'all have sex with other people, for me, that's crazy. I don't know how I can be with someone, since I'm not there to beat up your guts. You can let them motherfucker that lives on the next street to do my job for me. You know, since I'm not there, somebody's there to occupy it. You know, keep it warm for me. No, it doesn't make sense to me. Oh, is cheating ever justified? I don't think cheating is ever justified. But I had an episode with one of my friends, and we spoke about, is cheating, like, would you ever go back after somebody cheated? And I remember what I said was, I don't think cheating is one of those things where it's like it means it's an absence of love, because I think a lot of the times people do things out of a lack of love for themselves, because it's hard for someone to respect the love that they have for you if they don't even respect the love that they have for themselves. And not respecting yourself, it'll allow you to make so many decisions that will affect some of those things that are so great in your life. But you have to understand, when somebody's in a place where they're breaking down or they're losing themselves, they don't really think that they're worth any of those things that are around them. So at times when they make decisions that affect those things, it's like, well, this is what I deserve. I don't deserve this anyways. Like, this is what's supposed to happen. It's a weird thought process. But for me, it's like, how do you ever move past that? I don't think you move past that. I think you just start again. Because I don't think you can continue a relationship with that same person who cheated on you. So if that person is willing to change and they're willing to do certain things to show you that, to reassure you that they are no longer that same version of themselves that was willing to hurt you, and they do that day in and day out, because there's a lot of reassurance that has to go into that shit to rebuild that trust. But I think if you guys love each other enough and y'all move past that stage, because I'm not gonna hold you, there is no way that it's not going to be a rocky stage if somebody cheats. It doesn't matter the level of cheating. The moment you're dealing with that, I think you're gonna go, like, for y'all to get back to what y'all used to be or what y'all were at one point, or this new version of yourselves, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I said a little bit of time, bro. It's gonna take a good amount of fucking patience, because the bickering at each other and shit. Everyone that I know that's ever been in a situation like that, they'll tell you, like, there's a stage where y'all are just arguing at each other and shit, and it's just like, it feels like it's just nonstop. If you can get past that, I promise you that's love, because the level of patience it requires to go through that stage, unless you love that motherfucker, y'all ain't making it past it. I promise you that shit. Have you ever had a threesome? Would you be down to do one together with a plus one? Huh? Together. I read that so casually because I thought they were just asking for my point of view on it, but they're saying together. that's wow. Okay. No, I'm in a whole relationship. That's why when I read it so quickly, it's like I thought there was nothing wrong with it, but then I'm like, that's what she's inferring. But no, come on. But have I ever had a threesome? Yeah. How many bodies is too many bodies? If you're walking around with chlamydia or some shit like that, I think that's when it's too much. For me, it's really, I don't think there's such a thing as too many bodies, because it's like, I'll expose myself. I have phases where I can be a slut, and I understand just how easy it is to stack up bodies. In the matter of one night, if you really want to, you can catch 2 to 3 bodies. So the fact that I'm going to judge somebody for having had sex with 12 people is ridiculous. Because literally, they could have had sex on 3-4 different nights only, and then their body count got to that. If you're going to say that's kind of crazy that they stacked up that much, I get it. But the person's having fun. They're wilding. They're outside. For me, I really don't think there's an issue with it. As long as you worry about your health, then what the fuck do I have to worry about? Like, it's experience. Like, there's some people, it's like, you have a lot of sex with very random people. So it's like, your body count is very high. And there are people that enjoy having sex just as much, but they enjoy it with somebody consistently. So it's like, yeah, y'all can have sex the same amount of times for 5 months if somebody picked up 6 bodies and this person picked up 2 because they slept with one person for 3 months and another 3 months. I feel like it's really childish when you look at it like that. So, yeah. Does body count matter? No, I don't believe it matters at all. Biggest turn on. Somebody who understands me. Oh, my God. Like, I mean, like, turn on any single level. Like, do you understand how it feels to have a conversation with somebody? And you're looking at them and they're kind of like, at times you're having a conversation with somebody and it's like, they're kind of regurgitating what you're saying to tell you like they really understand. Bro, that shit is so attractive. I don't know if it's because like women don't do the whole account. I don't tend to come across a lot of women that hold themselves accountable for shit. So it's like at times when especially it's like if I'm bringing something up they did wrong, and they're kind of like trying to decipher what they did wrong. It's like, I'm like, yo, you actually give a fuck that you did something wrong. I like you. Like that shit's mad attractive. But longest, I can't put that on there. Opinion on 69. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Yo, she wasn't lying. This is like one person asking all of these questions. They texted me, they asked a lot, but I didn't really go through it. I was just like screenshot. Now I'm actually going through them. How do you feel about sucking toes? I think if she's wifey, you gotta do what you gotta do. For the girl, oh, okay. Do you think squirting is real? I think squirting is real, and I do believe in the whole like, there's a percentage of pee in it, so you got to be cautious with how you go around it. How long should sex last? That's an important question. How long should sex last? Okay, I think it depends because it's like, depending on how often we have sex, that depends on how long it should be. Because if we're having sex and at times, we'll hit an hour and shit, I don't want to have sex 4 or 5 times a day or something like that. So it's like, because that's 4 or 5 hours having sex. I like sex, but that's a lot of fucking time. So it's like, for me, it's like, I think if you're having sex consistently, whatever that means to you and shit, I think around, let's say like, damn, I don't want to hurt certain people's feelings if there are guys listening to me. I'm gonna be generous to guys and women on this. I think sex on average should last anywhere from 10 minutes. Fellas, if you don't make it that, I'm sorry, I can't help too much. 10 to like 25 if you're having sex consistently. But if not, I think you should. And also, if you're having problems, making it last. I'm gonna give y'all some advice, and this is technically from a mental health perspective, because I know when guys deal with this, it be having us down bad. I'm not gonna hold. I know that thought process is like, bro, like the pressure of performing. Women will never understand that, because you can sit there and you are good. Like, I guess sometimes, the fluids and shit, right? But for a guy, if it's not up, nothing is happening type shit. So it's like a lot of pressure. So for guys, it's like, if you're worried about like making it last longer and you don't want to affect their mental health, see, I'm like plugging the podcast on this, right? Foreplay. Like, I promise you, a lot of women will have no issue if you don't have enough pups in you. But as long as you give her 10 minutes of enjoyment, you're working with something, and it's like, I'm not going to say it's what she wants, but at least you got something to be grateful for, you feel me? Hey, yo, that's, wow. If a dude was double cheeked up, you wouldn't want to smash. No. I'm not sure what it is that you think I like about cheeks that much that would make me disregard which gender it was attached to, but I do like women. I respect people's preferences and what you like in your sexuality. But mine don't change just because you double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. I still want it from a shorty, you feel me? Do males like getting their toes sucked? Okay. I'm gonna expose myself, and I really don't give a fuck. So I'm not gonna hold you. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't like it. I feel like for it to happen, the position a guy would have to be in, for me, the way I would look at it is very demasculating. It's like, for me to get my toes sucked, my toes would have to be somewhere up in the air. And the idea that I'm laying on my back and my toes are just in the air, it just doesn't really sit well with me. So it's like, yeah. Cut versus uncut, like my preference on women and stuff. I really don't give a fuck if you got hair or not. It's like, I feel like that's mad childish, bro. Especially, I'm gonna just say one thing: you can have your preference and that's smooth and shit, unless you're not pushing it onto somebody and shit, right? But for me, one thing I think is really childish is somebody expecting a woman to stay bald if y'all in a relationship, and you expect that to happen every single time. Shaving is a lot of work. I don't know if y'all do it or if you get waxed, but it's not the easiest process. So it's like, give the woman some time to chill. You feel me? Like, enjoy her. How do you know limitations when it comes to being sexual? Communicate. How are people scared of like limits? You're like, there's no set limit to sex ever. The only limit that's there is whoever you're enjoying it with or doing it with. They're the one that sets those limits. So if you're having issues figuring it out, it would only be logical to ask the person who those limits fucking apply to. I know you probably asked that as a simple question, but I want to make it sound like that for a lot of people to realize a lot of shit that you don't know in relationships, there is one person that knows, and it's the person that you're with. It doesn't matter what it is that y'all are doing. As long as that dynamic is between two people, whatever you don't know, you can just ask and you will fucking know. You feel me? Like, you got it. Oh, I'm not answering that. Yo, 2-3 times. Nah. God damn. Would you let a boy give you head if it was good and wet like a bitch and be honest? No. What would you say is a male biggest turn on? I don't fucking know, bro. I'm gonna skip this. Yeah. I think this was the part where I literally told them, like, you can ask some questions that are sexual, but this is on a whole different level. This makes no sense. How do you feel about the LGBTQ community? I support anybody for whatever preference it is that you have, as long as you don't push them into anybody else. Anytime y'all ask me questions on shit like that, I'm gonna tell you the exact same shit. I'm not that person that's closed-minded, and I'm opposed to how other people think or the decisions that they make, whether I like what it is that they do or not. I'm not in the fucking place to give my opinion, because they probably don't like let's just say I didn't like a very, very hypothetical. This is not true. Like, let's just say I didn't like a thing that was common that gay people did. There's probably a thing that gay people don't like that straight people normally do. But but if the person is not going to sit here and is just talking shit to me, I don't have to tell them how I feel about something that they do, because you do what you got to do. And for me, I look at it how I please, but it's like, I'm not judging you and shit. It really don't fucking matter. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Why don't men brag about having a high body count? I thought men did brag about having a high body count. I don't know where you're from, but I'm pretty sure that men get hyped up for having a high body count. From where I'm at least that's how it's looked at and shit. Because it's like if you're somebody who's like, you got the most body counts, it's like you finesse, like, you know, you succeeded. Like, we look at every one of those things as accomplishments. You feel me? For guys. So I think it's like guys are expected to do the chasing and stuff like that. So it's kind of like when it happens, it's as if it's like you got something. And we look at it for when it happens with women, because you're the one being chased. It's kind of like you let it happen. So that's why it's kind of like for a high body count for a guy, it's like you got a lot of things. For a woman, we look at it, a lot of things happen to you. Like, I'll see the fucked up way of thinking about that shit. I'm trying to skip some of these, but it's have enough for so many episodes, just sexual questions. I think this is what we didn't get to, but it's like we're already 7 minutes, 8 minutes in. Bro, a lot of y'all really don't give a fuck. It's like, y'all, I don't think around this time y'all knew I was in a relationship, so a lot of this sexual shit directed towards me is because I was about to say y'all don't respect my relationship, but it's like y'all didn't necessarily know at that time. Because if somebody was just like, can I suck that dick? ? Simple. Nice. Tips for losing your virginity. Make sure you're actually mentally ready to actually go through that. I feel like for a lot of people, you get to a certain age and you feel a lot of pressure because everyone around you is experiencing that, and you're thinking, "Oh, am I missing out?" Sex is sex, but I promise you, I'm 22 now. And if I don't sit here and regret any long time span I went in the past that I went without having sex. I don't care for it, because in the moment, like, I get it at that point. Let's just say like you're 17 looking at it, you're like, oh, everybody's on this. Oh, okay, I get it. In the moment, you're like, I haven't done this yet, so it's like I'm missing out. But the longer you go and you stretch that along, and you're 18, 19 now, and you're like, oh, now I'm ready to do this. Once you do have it, you're not gonna regret that you didn't start having sex at 17. If it's great, if you do regret it, all you're going to do is you're going to have sex a lot more. So my point is, you get to make up for it. It's not lost. Like, you can always have sex. Like, and especially for a woman, there will always be men around. And for men, as long as you know how to get a woman, that should work. But I've seen some guys try to, like, get girls. Bro, I'm very disappointed in the men population. Like, I have witnessed some horrific experiences of guys trying to go up to a girl trying to act smooth and shit, and it's just like, I always feel bad. It'd be like sometimes it's your own friends and they're going up to talk to a girl, and I see what they're doing, and me understanding a thing or two about women, right? I'm like, there's no way that's gonna work, and I feel so disappointed that I'm walking with somebody that just tried that, and it's just like, I'm trying to turn around and shit, because I'm just like walking up to a girl and just getting up and her shit straight up. It's like, yo, what's good with you? And I'm like, bro, understand that certain things, I know we see it on YouTube and TikTok, and it works with some guys, but women are, how do I say this? They're very selective to what they allow. Because I promise you, if a 30-year-old man hits her up in her DM and says, hey, beautiful, she'll look at her friend and be like, this dude creepy. But me as an influencer that people know that is into poetry, like, you know, the deep stuff. I text a woman, hey, beautiful. She's thinking, damn, he different. Like, it's certain shit, unless she really fuck with you, she won't look at it and find it attractive. Like, if you're at a party and the girl keeps on eyeing you the whole entire time, I promise you, when you approach her, the first thing she's worried about is the fact that you approached her. Because one, if she keeps on looking at you, she's telling you, I like what I see, which is why I constantly keep on looking back at it. Because I'm not gonna hold you. If a woman does that, unless you're staring at her the whole time, she finds you creepy and shit, then that doesn't really apply to it. But women have this thing where it's like, even if they really find you attractive and they want you to walk up to them, they won't look at you that much. They expect that one look when they made eye contact is enough to tell you that, hey, I like you and I would like for you to come up to me and actually get my number. That one look, they expect it to communicate that much. So if you're getting a girl that's constantly looking at you, I promise you at that point you can walk up to her and you'll be like, hey, what's up? But yeah, for instance, like there are time moments where it's kind of like, even right now, right? Like before I got back in a relationship with my girlfriend, there are moments where I would walk in a party and because my name is known and there's not a lot of people in my city that does the whole influencer thing and they're like at a million with a podcast, like there's not a lot of people that care about social media on that front unless it's like music, SoundCloud and shit like that. So whenever I walk into a party, there's a lot of people that tend to know me. So because girls, like certain women that's at those parties, because in their head, this like they already know certain things about me, they already find me attractive. They don't even care for me walking up to them. There's a lot of people, it's like they'll walk up to me and be like, aren't you Chance? Or it's like because they know me. For me, it's like, you know how there's people have a look when they're trying to figure out if you're somebody they know. Like it's one of those, it's kind of like there's always like that little squint where it's kind of like, Chance? Like that little squint is kind of like where it confirms and shit. And I'll be like, but yeah, if a girl finds you attractive, you shouldn't have no issues like walking up to her and shit. But other than that, this is a great episode for YouTube, so we can actually drop this next week. Yeah. About.